Hello, my name's Rosanna and welcome back or welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going into 4 main points about how you can make your comeback after a significant life change, a midlife crisis, a dark night of the soul, spiritual awakening, Saturn return, whatever you want to call it when life throws you a bag of shit. We're going to be going into 4 main ways that you can gracefully come back from the situation and move throughout life. So hang around. We'll be going into the chaos that ensues and how within the chaos is where beauty is formed. We'll be going into non-judgment and why it is so important to release the judgment of yourself and the circumstances. We're going into a bit of shadow work, understanding who you are in truth and your highest vision. We always have to align with our highest vision, so we'll be touching on that as well. If you are going through a dark night of the soul, my heart is with you because I have been there and I have seen the very, very depths of where our mind can take us in these spaces. I have experienced this loss of meaning that a dark night of the soul can bring. I have been through it firsthand, and so you probably would be surprised to learn that most people have. Most people in some way have experienced a big change that they've had to come back from. You have. You've probably overcome many things in your life. This one might feel a little bit deeper, a little bit more charged. Maybe you're questioning the meaning of life, which again, I have done. So my heart is with you and I can really empathize with where you are. Let's touch on a little bit of what the dark night of the soul is. So it is just that. It's when a human loses direction and meaning, and we probably have lost confidence and trust in our lives, maybe in ourselves. We're questioning things more. Are we doing the right thing? Am I in the right relationship? Sometimes a dark night of the soul can be sparked by what we call an awakening. So you could have had like a life crisis happen. I personally was diagnosed with cancer. There could have been a death in the family, a divorce, a breakup, a redundancy, a financial challenge, business failure. Like, you could have broken your leg. Like, anything could have happened, or you could have just woken up one day and noticed that you don't feel like yourself. So all of these are sort of the same thing, but if you're questioning what you're doing, why you're here, how you move through this, then I would say it's some kind of version of dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul generally comes to us in our 30s, 40s. I was dead on 30, so in time as well for my Saturn return. And for others, it just looks like a midlife crisis. But in a midlife crisis, what we tend to do is seek externally for something that's going to fix it. So if we're married, we might end up having a fling or an affair to try and fix it because we think the problem is external. There's the stereotype of the man going out and buying the fast car because he doesn't know why he's worked so hard all of his life. And, you know, here he is in his late 40s or whatever, thinking, what am I doing all of this for? Let me go and spend loads of money. Because we think that that is what is going to give us that fulfillment, that like, oh, this was the purpose of all of that work. So some versions of crisis, dark night of the soul, that makes us question. The point is here that we're questioning who we are, what we're doing, the meaning of our life is, and our general purpose. So my own dark night of the soul, I mean, I was, like I say, forced into it. I had cancer, and it was on the days when I couldn't get out of bed that I was really searching for meaning. I questioned my life, I questioned death. At my very, very worst points, I was having suicidal thoughts. I sunk into a depression, and then on my healing journey, like I always had a vision of healing, of vitality, of health. So I stayed connected to this vision throughout, and this is what helped me get through. And we'll touch on that a bit later on. But I always knew that I was here for a reason, and I was going through this for a reason, and that it would become clear in time. So if you are going through this, just say, like, please know and trust that this is happening for your highest good, and the reason will become clear in time. It may not be today, but if you can do the things that you know are going to support you throughout this journey, then it will be a lot easier, and you can then start to make your graceful comeback. Mine wasn't so graceful, but it's okay. It doesn't really have to be. It's just sounds more appealing, doesn't it, if we're going to make a graceful comeback rather than a blustery trip over my heels and kind of fall over a few times comeback. But either way, it's all perfect. Every good life change starts with a bit of chaos. Everything beautiful, everything in this planet, in this reality, started through chaos. This planet started with chaos. The Big Bang. Nature starts with chaos. Art starts with chaos. Businesses start with chaos. Like everything beautiful, everything in this life started with chaos. And there's a beautiful quote by Carl Jung: in all chaos there is a cosmos, and in all disorder there is a secret order. So if we look at the stars, for instance, the galaxies in our solar system, whilst it looks chaotic with the stars splashed everywhere, and we have our sun, and we rotate around the sun, and we have all the other planets in our orbit rotating around the sun, and it might not look orderly, but there is a natural order to that. So with all chaos, there really is order, and it's all happening in a natural law that maybe we can't see. But what I like to think of chaos as is possibility. So in order to create anything new in our lives, and you've probably been questioning how you make changes in your life, which maybe sparked this dark night of the soul, because you're thinking, what next? I have fulfilled X in my career. I am happily married. Or happily divorced, and I have done this, and I have built my business to this, but and so what's next? What do I do next? What's my purpose? Why am I really here? So asking those questions kind of consciously or subconsciously is gonna make you start to look for the answers, which will start to bring some chaos into your life so that you can create something new. Because anything created, we can't create anything new, we can't bring anything new into our lives whilst we are living the same day, same routine in our comfort zones, day in and day out. Nothing new can come into that. We have to change things up because our mind is creating our reality. And it's currently, if you're not making changes, creating your reality based on your conditionings and your past experiences and your idea of who you have been. In order to make change, you have to step outside of your comfort zone, make new decisions, and kind of change the idea of who you are. So this, you can imagine, is going to create some chaos in the perfect order of your life that you thought life was. So with chaos, if you're experiencing chaos in your life, see possibility. Learn to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and learn to find certainty in uncertainty. And that certainty is that everything is happening for you. Everything is happening for your highest growth, and in some way, shape, or form, you have asked for this because you have asked for something bigger. You have asked to know what your meaning of life is, to know what you're made of. Well, here you go. You're going to be given some chaos so that you can figure it out. And you get to make the decisions that are aligned with your highest vision and with your highest self and with your soul in order to move through this chaos with grace and ease. Thou shalt not judge. Non-judgment for yourself when you're going through this chaotic period, this probably maybe meaningless period of your life, non-judgment for yourself and for your situation is gonna just really take some pressure off you, because a lot of our suffering comes from the judgments of our ego. So a lot of our suffering is our mind speaking negatively about us, but having negative beliefs about us and what we think about the world. So a lot of our suffering comes from our own thoughts and our own judgments on situations. One person could see this purple pen and think it's really inappropriate for work. Another person could see it and think, oh wow, that's a lot of fun. But the two different perceptions are going to cause either suffering in, oh, that's really unprofessional, she's so unprofessional, blah, or, oh, that's fun, possibilities, creativity. You know, there are two different and I'm not saying either one's right or wrong. Obviously, I'm the one with the purple pen, so and I have pink and blue and green. So I'm the one that's thinking the fun and but there was a time where I would have thought I can't use a purple pen because it's not productive. It's not professional, and it's not what you're supposed to do. So that caused me an element of suffering. But flipping the mindset to, oh, but it's fun, and why not? I work for myself in my own office. Nobody reads my notes. It doesn't matter. That's a really silly example, but when we can release judgment of a situation and of ourselves, this is like one of the biggest clues to your healing, because it will release so much suffering. Embracing your shadow. So this is where it really starts to get fun, because what your dark night of the soul is calling you to do, your midlife crisis is calling you to do, is to go deeper within yourself. Look deeper within your psyche as to what is coming up for you, what you're being called to learn about yourself, about the world. And the best way to do this is with shadow work. I started my shadow work journey shortly after I was diagnosed with cancer. I started to understand what the shadow was, what the ego was, and how I could integrate the shadow and these experiences in my life that probably weren't serving me, and I'd repressed emotions about so much stuff and unconscious judgments of how life should be. And so I began to bring all of that back into myself and integrate it into myself so that I could move towards wholeness. And that is ultimately what shadow work is calling you to do. When you start seeing situations that are triggering you, people that are triggering you, whilst you're going through this dark night of the soul, you're waking up to a deeper, a higher level of consciousness. So you're seeing these things so that you can become aware of them. And once you become aware of your shadow, then you can start to accept it. So your shadow is, I have a video that I'll link here about the shadow, but your shadow is just the parts of you, your mind, that your ego has rejected. It's repressed those emotions that make you feel uncomfortable and unsafe. It's rejected and projected the personality traits that it didn't think would keep you safe as you were growing up. So it's just it's the repressed unconscious parts of your psyche, that of your personality, of you, that has just been pushed away. And so your soul is crying for you to step into wholeness. It wants you to step into your whole self, which is the truth, right? This suffering of the judgment of the ego mind, of fear, is an illusion. It's not real. The truth is that you are already whole. And as you can embrace and integrate your shadow, you are starting to love yourself deeply and completely for all of who you are without judgment. And this is so powerful because when you can do that, you align with your higher self. You align with your true self, your true nature. And that is where your power to create lies. So that brings me nicely onto your highest vision. As you're moving through your dark night of the soul, your midlife crisis, your Saturn return, whatever it is, as you're moving through this, if you have a highest vision that you know is aligned with your soul and your deeper purpose and your deeper meaning for being here, it might take some digging, it might take some writing, some journaling, some meditating. But once you can find a highest vision, and it can be as simple as my highest health, wealth, and happiness, and aligning with that and making your decisions aligned with your highest health, wealth, and happiness, then throughout this journey, it's going to become much more, you're going to flow because you're going to make aligned decisions rather than resisting. So your ego will want to resist a lot of this. It will want to place judgment. It will want to tell you that it's not safe to feel that anger, feel that sadness, but it is. And as you align with your highest vision, that's where that's where you build the trust, because things will start to fall into place. So, and then you start to devote your life to something bigger. And that bigger doesn't mean God, it doesn't mean the universe, it means you. It is you in your core, your whole self, your true self. That's really, really where your creative power lies. And for you to move through this really difficult situation in your life, or maybe you've been through it and now you're seeking how to move out of it, but having your eyes on the vision, eyes on the prize, having your eyes on the vision and moving toward that vision in some way every single day it's gonna light up your soul, and you're gonna feel encouraged and inspired to move towards that. And that is how you really simply move through your dark night of the soul with grace and ease, and make your comeback. So lean into the chaos, find the possibility in the chaos, release judgment of yourself and others, embrace and integrate your shadow, love yourself with compassion deeply and completely for all of who you are and all of who you have been, and then move towards your future, move towards your highest vision in health, wealth, and love. And what does that look like for you? If you are going through this, like I say, like, you have got this. There is a quote that I read this week: when sleeping women wake, mountains move. And that is an indicator to your inner power, your inner wisdom, your strength. And as you can lean into that, like, you're waking up. That's what your dark night of the soul is calling you to do. You're waking up. You're realizing your power, and you're moving towards that power. You're moving towards a higher life. So keep going. And if this is you, and if you need some support around this, then I have a free 2-week training called Step Into Your Next Level Life and Discover Your True Self. And this just takes you through what you might be going through, how you begin to make your unconscious mind conscious so that you can uncover what it is that this is calling you to uncover. Takes you through shadow work. It takes you through dream interpretation, which is so much fun on this journey. And there are really deep meditations that you can go into to just understand what's going on and have some insight from your intuition, from your higher self. So this all lands really handily into your inbox every couple of days, so you don't even have to do anything, sign up to anything. But the link is in the description if you're interested. And if you'd like more personalized private coaching and one-on-one support, then we can do that too. There is a link again in the description that you can book a complimentary discovery call with me, and we can begin to plan out a treasure map to help you find the gold in this challenge. So thank you so much for watching this video. If it has resonated in any way, I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway, insight. Please leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos helping you in your spiritual and personal growth. Have a beautiful day.